Hello, 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 and welcome. Carling presents another evening of legends in conjunction with the IFA. Now, 2 weeks ago we were in Belfast with Crusaders. Tonight we're at the showgrounds, Coleraine, and we've got a four-man panel. From the 60s and 70s, we have got two teak tough defenders. From the same period, we've got a very cultured wing half, stroke midfielder, and a man who made his debut for this club 20 years ago, and he's still playing. Do you know, I am really looking forward to this. See Johnny is safely seated there. Oh, I can take these off. Get that? And I'm not joking. How are you, men? Lift your microphones there. David, I'll come to you first because you may have trouble getting a word in.
Best to start with me, Jackie.
Yeah. Did you, were you training tonight at all?
While I was there, they just wedged me between the posts and kept shooting.
Who did eat all the pies?
Apparently it was me. That was you in the crowd, wasn't it?
That was me, leading it. 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. It doesn't seem that long ago, to be honest.
But were you away a couple of times and back?
I was away for 5 seasons, 3 at Crusaders and 2 at Newry, and then I came back. But 1991, making my debut against Portadown, it seems like yesterday, to be honest. And, it was great to achieve that level at that time, but 20 years later, I wish I was 20 years younger.
Well, you're doing well. You must be, what, 61, 62 now, right?
They're going to have to cut me open and count the rings, I think, Jack.
It's quite a while since I was on here, right enough, in the social club, and it brings back a lot of great memories. From when we used to play here, obviously the camaraderie was very good. I think maybe the results and the trophies that we brought in the 70s would maybe justify that, but we never seemed to go home after the game. We all come up in here, and as soon as Dickie and my money, they never spent any of them two, but as soon as our money run on, then we went home. But we just seemed to live here nearly all the time, up in this social club and after the games. There was a great family atmosphere there.
Bob, you were known as Bob. Why was that?
That's my father's name. So they just called me Bob.
Right, okay, Bob. Who brought you here?
The car.
Tell the truth, I saw you get out of the Mount Sandal care home minibus.
You were going in.
Who made the approach from Coleraine?
I think it was Bertie Peacock himself, George Christie, and that was up.
Were you sort of in awe of Bertie Peacock after all he'd done internationally and everything else?
Great. I admired him because at that time Ballymena was signing players up Monty McKinney and that went to Ballymena. There were 3 or 4 of us come down here to Coleraine, and 1 or 2 didn't bother coming back again. So we persevered anyway, and the wee man made me sort of a half-decent player anyway.
He did more than that. And Johnny...
I was sitting in the house, summer afternoon or night, evening, and Liam came home from his work, and he throws these 2 forms. He says, "You're to sign them." He said, "What?" He says, "Jack Doherty gave me them things for you to sign." And I hadn't a clue. I never signed it in my life. I didn't know what a form was when I got there. There were no agents there when I got there, and no solicitors or advisors. Not even somebody for the club, So I said to him, and I says, "What does that mean?" And he says, "Right, come on tomorrow morning, and as far as I know, you're a Coleraine player." No money, no nothing, and that's how I signed for Coleraine. And there's my proudest moment. I'm sitting, nobody there but my mother and father and Liam. none of them was all that interesting football. Here I am sitting at the kitchen table, signed for Coleraine, and I couldn't even tell the rest of the lads down the street because I thought maybe it was a wind-up, you know. So she couldn't tell them in case it was wrong. But at the end of the year, they took me on and says, "We're getting so much," and they said, "Was everybody getting the same?" And I was told, "Aye." I said, "That's okay then." No, rightly they weren't. Well, I'll tell you about that. When Murray and me signed Beckett, you know, and 74, I think it was, he came and he came in there and he had agents with him.
You're Beckett?
Yeah, and he
He's a millionaire, sir.
He had a boy, how much rights he was looking for? And I sat at a kitchen table and said, and he's so shows you how things change.
Yeah, but do you admire that sort of loyalty, which is not really in the modern game?
Well, I guess it's coming back a wee bit more now. I think people are more local and staying with their local clubs rather than chasing, you know, the dreams that are in Belfast for bigger clubs, because I don't think the money's
That's
there.
right, David.
So, but I know how good these guys are. I've met most of them at functions over the years, and I've spent quite a few nights sitting with Johnny and listening to the tales of old Coleraine. So it's brilliant that those guys had so much camaraderie, as the name talks about.
Yeah.
And they stayed together, they socialised together, and they were a team for maybe 10, 12 years. It was brilliant for this club, I think, and it brought them a lot of success.
But apart from you're 5 years away from here, 20 years ago you made your debut, so you've been here 15 years. What has kept you at Coleraine?
They're one of the few teams that'll keep me, Jackie. Everybody else just wanted rid of me. You're good, Jackie, not know that?
What is your most memorable save for Coleraine?
Thank you, Melissa. What is your most memorable save for Coleraine?
I haven't made too many saves, so it should be easy to remember, Jackie. I guess some of the most recent ones would probably be from the League Cup final last year, or the penalty save against Linfield to win 1-0 at Windsor, and penalty save a couple of years ago.
What was the biggest disappointment with us?
Biggest disappointment was probably the most recent one in the League Cup final. I actually thought it was definitely going to be our day that day. We hadn't conceded a goal just before half time. I think we probably would have won the game.
Johnny, was Jameson tackle the worst tackle you ever made?
Johnny, was the Jameson tackle the worst you ever made? I take it that was Stumpy Johnny Jameson.
Jackie, just a wee bit missed time, do you know? It wasn't. You see, what happened there was he was coming up, and Murray says, "I'll get him," you know. And I says, "You sure you get him?" And he says, "No, don't you get him?" As Murray always arrived late, and he arrived late that day and missed him, so I had to do it, you know. Wasn't he right, you know, but...
There were some great years here. But you know, just briefly, what was the best? See, in them days, I'll tell you the difference was...
I've lost the will to that.
The difference was in them days...
Liam needs to be a politician.
There was runners in our dressing room. And I think that maybe there's just not enough of them at the minute at Coleraine. When you look round a dressing room, no, Davy's been here long enough, but when you looked round our dressing room in them days, you had a crowd of winners in the dressing room. And you need winners in your dressing room if you're going to achieve. If you're going to win anything, you need people who you know are winners when you look them in the eye. And when you saw McCurdy and Murray and Jennings and McNutt, we had the best striker in Ireland in them days, Dixon. But when you looked around the dressing room, you had winners. And that's very important. Even a predecessor of yours, Wes Lamont, would say the same. And if you look around a dressing room and you see 6 winners and 5 half-hearted winners, no good. And them days, we had a dressing room full of winners.
We had a doctor here, Dr. Lovey, saying he prepared Jack a drink, you know, and I loved it, and whiskey and all that there, and brandy and stuff. So I went and I says to the doctor, I thought, pull here in my leg, doctor. Get up there, I says, so up I gets on the table and then rubs a wee bit. You take a wee brandy. I says, I know what, doctor, you know. So one of these on me saying, and he rubbed away, and he says, I said, yeah, any better? He says, no, really. I said, will you take another wee brandy? Well, he says, well, doctor, so that's what on, you know. And
This is liters of brandy, brother.
later on in the brandy, and I says, doctor, how is that, John? And he was getting drunk, and I was getting drunk. He says, how is that? I says, wait, I tell you, but you're only making somebody go into life, and this isn't improved, it's that bad, can I play?
This is a true story.
So, Dixon came down and says, wee man can't play, and he's in there, that leg isn't improved. Murray says, he's probably drunk. This is right, I didn't play. What do you
Leg was numb.
I was numb.
Dr. Love
So was Dr. Love.
I'm sure the older boys will remember Dr. Love. His head used to be to the side a bit, you know, and I remember him coming into the dressing room before we went out and he says, Johnny will not be fit to play. The head goes over to the side. So he's out in the middle of the pitch announcing the team that's going up on the big electronic scoreboard at the end of the ground. And they brought Gordon in, I think. They bring Davy in his place. Oh, aye, that's right.
It was the first time I was ever sucked before the ball was kicked.
Nice shirt. Oh no, it's not.
Was Stephen Carson go past you?
That's for you, Johnny.
That's me the other day there.
Do you watch football now, John? Here?
No.
Why's that?
Probably like many, as David said, there are not the same crowds going out. I had the grandchildren coming up there, and we looked after them on a Saturday, sort of took them to the beach or playgrounds, whatever the thing.
But they must be about 27 or 28 or...
By the way, Stoney's oh, you get out of the way, it's like one's on here, maybe it's the same way any sport. Once you miss 2 or 3 months, you lose interest.
And you play a lot of golf as well, which keeps you occupied, I'm sure.
Keeps me fit, man.
Does it? Right.
You should try it. There's no future in singing, you know.